All right, welcome to this match between the Principia College Thunder Chickens and the Northern Iowa Panthers. We're a little late on the streaming with some issues, so we're about 6 minutes into the game already. And Principia just scored the first try of the game, so it is 5-0. This is the first game from the St. Louis region for the round of 16 for the Division II National Collegiate Rugby 2022 Championships. It is a fairly cold day, fairly windy. It's about 30 degrees. It is sunny, but the wind is just taking that heat away, and the players are probably feeling a little cold. We had a missed conversion by Principia, so the Panthers are going to be kicking off here in down 5-0. The early part of the game, those first 5 or 6 minutes, had some good ball control with some good phases for both teams, and knock-ons and penalties stopping the drives. We have a shallow kick just past the 10. Panthers get their hand on it, aren't able to recover though. Principia looks to be setting up for a box kick. And pressure coming down. Oh, there's a knock off the box kick. And Principia is going to get the ball just outside the Panthers' 22. We've had 2 scrums so far, each team with 1 put in and each team recovering. The scrums had looked fairly equal, just a little bit of drive, very good body position throughout, and they look to be evenly matched. These 2 teams did face off in a scrimmage early in the season, with Principia coming out on top quite handily, but we've had a lot of weeks since then, and it's good to see both teams now able to perform late in the season at their best. Principia's put in, 8 takes the ball to 9, a little bit of a poor pass. Principia's fly half runs through, takes the tackle. Forward pops through, it might be Principia's number 8. Principia playing fairly quick ball, it looks like, and just pushing Northern Iowa's defense. We may have a try there. Let's see what the referee signals. Oh, a knock on at the goal line. Principia had an opportunity there and gave up the ball. Northern Iowa is going to have a goal line, I believe a goal line drop kick. So this kick needs to go at least 5 meters, and it's anybody's ball in the air. Oh, that's going to be might be a penalty for hitting in the air. Nope, ref might be calling both as contesting. No, he has given. We'll see what happens with that if he'll give it keeper's advantage on. He is calling the penalty. Now, I believe there have been 2 penalty opportunities for them previously, and they have not taken a kick to touch. They did a tap and run and a scrum before, but here we do see a fairly short kick. There is a little bit of a heavy wind blowing from Principia's back into Northern Iowa, so kicking is going to be a little bit difficult for Iowa this half, and then of course Principia in the next half. Got a 4-man line out. Ref just getting the back line set up. Nice win by Northern Iowa, and that line out very simple. Good dual tackle. Principia not able to steal the ball, and good pace by Northern Iowa moving that ball right out of that ruck. But support player that not there. In the next phase, Principia gets their hands on it and is able to recover that ball. Got their hands there before a rucker for Northern Iowa was there. Good jackal, good quick reaction by Principia's number 7, it looks like. Principia is going to kick for points. They are just about centered at the 22-meter line, so a 22-meter kick just in front, looks like 21 meters. Wind at the back, but coming across the field just a little bit. This ball is live if it doesn't go through the posts. Looks like there's a little bit of trouble keeping the ball on the tee. So one player may do it like American football and have his finger holding it. It looks like the kick was not good. The ball's being played. Iowa's fullback taking it out from the in goal. We have very, very deep. These are beautiful fields here. Emerson Fields in St. Louis. They're new as of a few years ago. Very flat, beautiful grass, and very deep in goals. Possibly the full 22 meters. It's quite nice, but that allowed Iowa to play the ball. Oh, Principia rips the ball out of the tackle, but then loses it forward. But then calling a penalty on Iowa. Nope, on Principia. Perhaps leaving, didn't quite see that signal, but perhaps leaving, it's not quite diving over, so I'm not sure what he's doing with his hands there. But Principia going to ground when they shouldn't be. That's what I'm seeing out of that. So Iowa choosing not to kick, probably because of the wind, just maintaining ball position, and has drawn advantage again. And coming back to a penalty committed by Principia for offsides. Principia must not have been behind their own team's ruck off one of the tackles. So these kicks from the center field, this does get to be a little bit tricky, kicking for touch, because you do have a wide field. So instead of going for touch, they're going to play it safe and call a scrum here. It's nice to have with the camera here. It's nice to have a scrum at center field, so we can have a nice clear look at it. Nice stable scrum. Yes, Principia is able to get there early enough. Gets that ball before Iowa's ruckers get there. Principia's fullback takes a quick tap and go. Almost breaks through, gives a kick to himself, doesn't quite make it. I'm not sure I thought that ball rolled out, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe that ball went straight out, so it's coming back. What was the call there? Maybe it was. Did he go out the end goal? They got a scrum set. Okay, it went out the end goal, so I was given a choice there of they have several options, and they're choosing to have a scrum where the kick was. Great contact. Principia, good body position. Iowa's loose head prop standing up just a little bit, but they are holding nicely, recovering that ball. That's the key point for both teams. Just get that ball out of the scrum and play it. Very nice run by the Panthers and picking up an extra 4 or 5 meters after the contact. And we've been seeing this these first 10 minutes or so far. Lots of hard running and then causing Principia to get penalties. The referee is having a chat with Principia's captain and has given Principia a yellow card for offsides. So one of Principia's props will be having 10 minutes over on the sideline to think about what he did and consider his choices from several moments ago. We have a tap and go. Score is still 5-0 Principia. Iowa looks like they have a very solid game plan of keeping possession of the ball, hard running, and making Principia play defense. As long as they get their ruckers in place fast enough, they're going to be tough to stop. And that's where Principia has gained the ball, has been when Iowa's ruckers have not been present and Principia gets there quickly. Another penalty by Principia. It looks like maybe offsides again. They're going to test the outside instead of running up the center. Continuing with the pod play. Oh, but we have a knock. So Northern Iowa, very good possession, strung quite a few phases together, but has dropped the ball forwards, and Principia is going to get the scrum. Now, we're going to see who has to come in. Principia is going to need a prop, and we'll see who comes in for Principia to handle that. Looks like they've moved their 8-man up to prop. Sizable fella. I think he's going to be just fine, although I know this is not a position he happens to like to play. So it'll be an 8-on-7 scrum. It looks like Principia is keeping their backline option. Nope. I'm not sure who they moved into place there. Scrum is stabilized. The ball is in. Very good drive by Iowa. But Principia's 8-man does escape. He's on his feet, and Principia has the ball in the ruck. Oh, Principia's winger breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2 tackles. Third tackler, great low ankle tackle to stop the attack. Oh, wow. Principia now mirroring with their, instead of spinning the ball wide, they're just hitting hard and seeing if Northern Iowa wants to play defense. And it looks like Principia has slid through the defense. He is very fast and has scored Celino has scored a lot of tries this year. And he places it down in the center. Principia is up 10-0 with an opportunity to go up 12-0 off the kick. Who went in the prop?
I feel like did they get a yellow? Is that why he's out?
Yes, yes. Yes. I guess Oh, it was the far side. I didn't see who was in Spay because it was on the far side. All right, and Principia makes, Andrew Matoka for Principia makes the conversion, and Principia is up 12-0. We are about 21 minutes into the half. Still only about 30 degrees. Wind has picked up just a little bit, so I think all of these players and the referee are probably happy to keep running and keep moving and staying warm. Little bit of a short kickoff again, too low for Northern Iowa to get there and challenge. Principia is taking the ball back up to the halfway line. But good post tackle. Stopping the threat. Oh, but Bradley has skid through, and Principia is off to the races again. Another beautiful tackle by Northern Iowa to stop a try. Both teams get set up. We have call this a slow ball. A lot of defenders, not a lot of Principians on that tackle. It's good the runner came back inside towards his support. Otherwise, that would have been an easy ball for Iowa to poach. We have a chip kick down into the in goal. And out the side, out over the touch and goal line, or let's see, we'll have to see where the referee marks it. So Iowa must have been the one to ultimately kick that ball out, and so they're going to have a goal line dropout. Principia needs to be 5 meters away from the goal line, and then Northern Iowa has to kick the ball at least 5 meters. And once that ball is kicked, anybody can gain possession. The ball can be kicked anywhere behind the goal line. It could be kicked from the side, the center. So there's definitely some gamesmanship, and we'll see them move it around, looking for a good place to attack. They choose a deep kick back to their 22. Strong attack by Principia. That ball comes out of the ruck, just fine, or in the ruck. Oh, we might have a knock there. And the referee has called it low pass. Principia player could not get his hands on the ball. We have a knock. Oh, but there was let's see, maybe an offsides penalty that had negated that. Okay. Northern Iowa had been offside, so despite the knock, Principia retains the ball. They're about 18 meters from 17 meters maybe from the in goal. And they have called for a scrum. So this will draw in 7 or 8 players on each team, and then allow Principia's backs to have a greater attacking area. And Tongo has moved prop. All right. And Principia's yellow card. Principia currently playing 14 on 15, but just a few minutes left on the yellow card. All right, so Principia takes it out the right. We've got a little bit of a 3-on-3. Danny Lola's just going to keep it. And I think he had the try. I think the ball just came out. Referee and the assistant referee going to have a little conversation, see what happened with that ball coming out. From over here, it looked like Principia did score touching the ball down. But it is a knock. All right, so we have another goal line dropout, and we're back to where we were 2 minutes ago. And we're going to try this again. Good launch by Iowa, getting the defense up there. Gaining about 20 meters, and they've been awarded a penalty. So it looks like Principia's ruckers were slow to get there. The ball carrier had to hold, went to ground, had to hold on to the ball. That is not allowed, and Northern Iowa is gonna get a chance at offense here. Northern Iowa almost able to slip through. Oh wow, lots of. I saw 3 penalties in that ruck, so we're gonna see what the ref's gonna play. He is very excited about offsides today, so we're going back to Principia offsides. So Principia offside at a tackle yet again. Gonna talk to the Principia captain about that. Okay, so Northern Iowa's chosen to tap and go off that penalty. When you have a penalty, you and have the ball, you have several options of what happens next. And they've chosen to tap the ball, basically kicking to yourselves and attacking up. And we're seeing that very strong, hard running from Pods again, just off the rucks. Principia recovered the ball off that tackle. We have a 2-on-1 on the outside. And Northern Iowa recovered nicely, made a tackle. Principia players out of bounds, unlike American football. When the ball goes out of bounds, the team, generally speaking, the team that took the ball out of bounds loses possession. Northern Iowa wound up playing that quickly, but not only was Principia set, the referee was also busy talking with Principia, so we are going to have a line out just on Principia's side of the halfway line. Still 12-0. We are about 28 minutes or so into the first of 2 40-minute halves. Iowa's gone with a 7-man lineout. Principia's yellow card is over. Speu is back on the field. And each team has seven in the lineout. So the team on defense can have as many as or fewer than the number of players that offense puts on. And usually they will match. So Principia was able to actually steal that ball on the lineout, but then they knocked it on the subsequent pass. I was shielded from it, but it looks like that's the signal. We'll go back to our regular scrums.
Hey, big set here, boys, big set!
All right, the referee's giving his instructions. Crouch, bind, engage. Nice stable scrum. The ball, scrum half rolls the ball in. Principia. Referee's letting the play. Referee has called a penalty for Principia. Principia is going to take that ball. He did not make a hand signal of what it was. Maybe a loose bind. Iowa may have let go of their binds before the scrum was over. I'm not sure. Andrew Mintoko with the kick out of bounds. About 30 meters away from Northern Iowa's goal line. Looks like Principia is going to put five in the scrum, or excuse me, 5 in the lineout. Principia's lineout throw, and Northern Iowa's matching. Players on both teams need to be, everybody not involved in that lineout box that you're seeing. All the other players need to be 10 meters back from where the ball is thrown in. Principia misses the ball on the overthrow, but what we call the fireman picked it up, cleaned that up for them, and gained quite a few meters. Principia creeping inside the 22. A quick pass And Principia is in for another try. So Principia brought in a runner running back against the defense, and so the defenders at the gap he hit through were not able to get their hips turned around. It was a nice little pass to a player at full speed. Principia is up 17-0, but both teams have been playing very strong rugby. Principia getting many more penalties called, just have some very strong and fast runners on offense, and Iowa has still been playing very, very solid defense, just hasn't been able to convert on their offensive chances. Principia makes the conversion kick, so we have a score of 19-0, 31 minutes into the first half. Sun is still out, but it's still around 30 degrees. So you may see some bundled up players, water carriers. So Principia scores, 15's rugby. They get to receive the kick. Northern Iowa, the Panthers have been kicking fairly shallow, but not quite getting the height they need to really compete. Much better kick. Didn't go 10 meters. Almost a very recoverable kick. And so Principia, because that kick did not go 10 meters, Principia will get a scrum at the halfway line, their own put in. Saw Principia player have to think, do I step over that line and try to catch the kick even though it only went 9 meters, but then I'd have it? Because if you do let it bounce, well, then it bounces in towards your side. The kick ended up going 10 meters after the bounce. And then you're on the wrong side of the ball, the other team's still attacking, so that puts a lot of pressure and causes a quick decision to be made if that kick does go a little bit short. 8-man takes it out, pass to the 9, pass to the fullback. Fullback has a chip kick down. There's a sprint to the corner. Northern Iowa fullback was able to catch it. Had to get rid of it off a kick, but it was not. He got height, but he did not get distance. And Principia was able to actually run that back in. Tackle made, but Principia made it into the in goal, bringing a score to 24-0, with a chance for 2 more. Have about 7 minutes left in this first 40-minute half. UNI actually has 2 teams here today, with their women's team playing at the field right next to the field you're seeing. Oh, he pulled that kick back in. 2 points for Principia. I think that brings us to 26. That was Andrew Matoka on the kick. All right, Northern Iowa kicking off again from the halfway line. Deeper kick. You can see that wind just pushed that ball back, but the defense was not really running onto it, did not get there. That is a recoverable ball, but they had chosen to play it a little bit safe there and not try to press. And have a box kick from the scrum half. Seen quite a bit of that from Principia, from the Thunder Chickens today. Iowa now with a chance to counterattack. Some interesting passing there. Back to seeing that nice hard running. Oh, Principia might have an opportunity for that ball though. Iowa maintains it. Might have a gap here. Nice hard run. Again, grinding away several meters at a time, and it's being effective. And they've drawn. Oh, he's knocked it on. Maybe hands are getting a little cold. Iowa has shown very good hands today and has had a lot of consecutive phases and really has tested Principia's defense and gained a lot of ground, but just hasn't been able to string quite enough together off of those short gains. Back to our scrum, listening for the crouch, touch, engage. That will, there we go, crouch. Oh, crouch, bind, crouch, touch, engage, the old call, very old call, crouch, bind, engage, excuse me. That ball is rolled in. Iowa with a nice drive, able to disrupt a play it looked like Principia wanted to play, and Principia's back line has knocked it on. And Iowa's gonna gain about 6-7 meters and win possession of that ball for their scrum. And they're on their own 10-meter line, and so they're close to the center of the field, 10 meters away from the center of the field. We have about 3 minutes left in this half. Principia up 26-0, but it's been actually a pretty even game. University of Northern Iowa actually got 4th place last year at Nationals, and Principia lost in the round of 16 and won their next game, so somewhere between 9 and 15 is where they ended up. They did scrimmage each other earlier this year, with Principia coming out on top fairly handily, but it was early in the season. A lot can change. So very Iowa's loosehead prop. Oh, he's there. Looks like loosehead prop playing inside center. He is a speedy and thick guy. Not easy to tackle. Iowa here, good opportunity here. They've got the overload on numbers. Oh, but we're not able to get that ball out quickly enough to take advantage. But they did have the numbers over by the sideline there. Principia is doing a nice job of low tackles by and large. A low tackle isn't necessarily always the best choice, but today it is being effective in slowing down the ball, surprisingly. Principia offsides, just outside their own 22. Principia is going to have to back up 10 meters from the point of the where the referee's awarding the penalty. And so Iowa has some choices. They could kick for points. They're going to kick to themselves, looking for that try. Still maintaining good ball possession. Again, they've strung a lot of phases together, and we see that again here. Phase being anytime you have the ball and then there's a tackle. So having consecutive ones means you're maintaining possessions if there aren't any whistles happening. Oh, good opportunity here. Principia defense there, but Iowa knows how to gain a couple yards off a tackle. Clearly very good at making progress after the tackle. Principia, you will see it doing some two-man tackles, it looks like, where one's kind of taking the body and then another's trying to get the hands on the ball. There's a good chance for a high tackle, not an illegal high tackle, but high tackle there to slow down a large runner and absorb that energy. Principia diving over in the ruck inside their own 22, so Iowa's going to get the ball. Principia's back 10 meters. Northern Iowa's going to kick to themselves again. They could kick. Oh, nice progress after the tackle there. That runner was able to gain quite a few yards. Full speed runner picks up that ball off a nice pass. Principia tackler, feet still barely able to make the tackle, but gets it. And Northern Iowa keeps pounding, and they've made it in for 5 points. Very good play by Northern Iowa. Very fundamentals of maintaining the ball possession, running the ball, gaining a few meters at a time, and just overpowering the defense.
That away, board!
So that'll probably take us to the half. It's 26-5. Principia with Northern Iowa having a chance here for 2 more points. Iowa has been playing with the wind in their face, and so they will take a nice advantage next half with presumably the wind continuing at their backs. It has been a little bit gusty, which does make kicking a little bit difficult there. All right, we're gonna have a approximate break of maybe 10 minutes, and then we will be back for a second half. We're ending the first half here. Principia College Thunder Chickens 26 and University of Northern Iowa 7.
Coming you.
All right, we have the start of our second half. Principia College Thunder Chickens are up 26-7 over University of Northern Iowa Panthers, but it has been a close, hard-fought game. Excellent running, excellent tackling so far. Weather is still cold, low 30s, and UNI now has the wind at their backs, and that will help them out this half. They were having to avoid a lot of kicking last half, and they'll now have that attack option. Looks like we have a knock. First whistle of the half with a UNI player dropping the ball forward, and so Principia is going to be given that ball to roll into the scrum. Also happening at the field right next to us is UNI's women's team playing Southern Nazarene out of Oklahoma, and with Southern Nazarene down 12-20 to UNI. And they are currently in their halftime. Referee not liking something here. Teams getting reset up.
Get ready, Smitty. Garrett Dillon, heads up.
Both teams back 5 meters from the back of their side of the scrum. When that ball is rolled in, it's supposed to be rolled straight. Both teams doing a fairly good job. Little trick play there. Bradley with the ball, and he is speedy and hard to tackle, and he is going to take that try 5 points.
That's all right, Udi.
All right, so just 2 minutes and a half. Team's going to have a little sip of water. Andrew Matoka gets set up for the kick for Principia. So because the Principia player scored fairly far away from the posts when he actually touched the ball to the ground, you have to put downward pressure to score, unlike American football that people are most familiar with. To score in rugby, you actually have to cross the goal line and then push the ball down. And because the player did it fairly far wide, the kicker then always has to kick with a line running perpendicular to the goal line from where the ball was touched down. So sometimes you may see rugby players run to the center of the goalpost and put it down in between them, and that's why, so there's an easier kick. So Matoka misses that kick. That's a harder kick to make with that poor angle, and the wind today playing a factor as well, making kicking a little bit of a guessing game. Principia recovers the kick. The box kick we see again. Mankato recovers the ball. The referee calls a knock, but that did not look like a knock to me. That the Mankato play, not Mankato, excuse me, the UNI player. I thought. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened there, but the referee is calling UNI for an offsides. And Principia is going to kick for touch. Touch is the fancy word for out of bounds, or really the much simpler word for out of bounds that rugby players use. The ball did go to touch, it did go out of bounds, and because of the penalty, Principia kicked it out, and then Principia gets to throw it in. This ball is supposed to travel down the center. There's a 1 meter tunnel-ish between the players, and it's supposed to travel down the center, but the team throwing it in has two advantages. They can, one, throw it a little bit more towards their side, and two, they know the timing and the height and the distance of the throw. So it's a big advantage. Oh, Principia with an opportunity there, but the Principia player misses the pass, throws it down to a UNI player on the ground, and is called a penalty for offsides. I'm not sure what the offsides there was, but Principia off the penalty, taking the option to just play the ball quickly. So you'll see players kick the ball to themselves, and that allows them to continue play off the penalty. Now he's going to have a little chat with the other team. Not sure what that penalty was. So the referees, the touch judge signaled. Let's see. The touch judge signaled it was out of bounds. Went to touch, but it looked like the UNI player did tap it back in bounds before going out from his jump in the air. So now the referee and the touch judge, the assistant referee, are going to have a little chat about that, and the referee's going to call it as having gone a touch. So we are just 5 meters out from UNI's in goal. See, neither team has run any plays attacking through the lineout. They've all passed to their backs, but this might be a time where we see some mauling action. We'll see. Yes, so we go to a maul. UNI not prepared for it. Did Principia get it in? I don't think so. Everybody's still scrambling around. And that's going to be a try. So Principia just picks the ball up out of the ruck and is able to bounce around a couple tacklers. Big, strong attack and touchdown. We are around 7 minutes into the second half of this game. Principia with a try to go up 36-7. I do see some substitutions, for at least one substitution for Principia, and I see a substitution going in for UNI. Both teams will be playing Sunday. The winner will be playing for the round of 8 to see who goes to Texas in the summer for nationals. It's nice they are having it in Texas rather than, say, Minnesota or Wisconsin. It's probably some thought that goes into that ahead of time. And then the other team will be playing as well. And those play-in games, and the kick missed again. So that score will remain, I believe, at 31-7 right now. But those play-in games of the two losing teams from the two matches today do matter because they help dictate seeding for next year. Rugby seasons are, fairly short in the number of games, and so maybe you have 5 to 8 or 9, something like that. And there's not a lot of cross-conference play, so it can be a little bit tough to know how good teams are against each other. And so last year's tournaments help with that. UNI tries to take a little tricky kick there. Principia backed up quite a bit because of the wind, but it did not pay off, and we're going to have a scrum center to Principia. Getting a question about why the kicks are being missed. That kick was just more of a shank. That was not with the wind. The wind is a factor, but these are makeable kicks, so I'm not sure what the mechanics issues are right now. Nice feed, Principia with a nice stability there on the scrum, and the scrum half's going to take the ball from the 8-man, run it down, a little bit of a pass. We got one more pass. Oh, Principia's captain just takes it into contact. Outside center picking it up, only about 1 meter away from the goal line. But Principia should have scored that earlier if they made that pass. Uh-oh, ball bouncing around. And it looks like Principia has, we're going to see what the ref says. Did we have a knock? Did we have an offsides? So he's awarding, so Principia must not have scored. Perhaps it had been a knock, but there was also an offsides. And so Principia gets the ball 5 meters away from the goal line. And now we're having another whistle. And he's going to have the referee and Northern Iowa's captain are going to have a little chat. Probably Northern Iowa offsides again. Is not giving a card. Repeat offenses are a quick way to earn yourself a rest on the sideline while your team plays on without you. And Principia, instead of taking the penalty, the quick tap on the penalty, they're actually going to call for the scrum. Like we saw earlier, both teams have done this. Principia once today, and Iowa maybe once today. That's going to bring in all of 8 players on each team, and then allow the remaining potential ball carriers more room to run and potentially break through the back line. Both teams have won, other than UNI losing 1 scrum that they had put in. I think each team has won all of their own scrums today, so they're very evenly matched. Little quick play here. Ball to Principia, number 10 captain, Demir Kansi. And we have a penalty on, not sure what that penalty was. Maybe he was rolling around. And Iowa takes the ball and clears it. Nice recovery by Northern Iowa. Really good, steady defense there. So Principia threatened. Northern Iowa held strong and just staying strong with the fundamentals, making the tackles, letting the other team make the mistake. Principia coughs it up, and now Northern Iowa has cleared. Northern Iowa does have 2 subs going in. It looks like probably both backline players, looks like. So Principia does have the ball just outside the 22-meter line. And referee taking a moment to get the UNI team onside because the assistant referee that should be doing that was doing something else. All right, so
Gentry, KCI! KCI!
guessing the throw was not straight, and so UNI is going to take a scrum option. I think that is what has happened here. 15 meters in from the edge of the field. Principia making a substitution, rearranging the scrum a little bit as one of the props comes out, and a flanker moves into prop. Flanker is a substitute player. They do have an update that the loser of this game and the loser of the next game play tomorrow, not Sunday, for that game to help determine relative conference strength, which is important for anybody coming next year that might want to get a second team in from their conference. All right, UNI maintains little drive on the scrum. UNI moves that ball back through the scrum quickly, moves out to the back line, but then they choose to kick. And Principia on the counter attack after recovering the kick. UNI wasn't able to get any pressure. I think maybe they're relying on the wind and it just did not drift that far. It wasn't windy when that ball came off the foot. Principia in off that beautiful counter attack, scored between the posts. And I think that moves the score to 38-7 or something like that. 41-7. it's nice that somebody is counting. And you'll see the kicker here gets to have a much easier kick from the center of the post or near the center of the post because of where the player actually scored. And that'll move the score to 43-7. Now 2 games coming up, over the next 2 days. Coaches, obviously both coaches focused on winning, but then also starting to think about how do they distribute the load so that they are at maximum readiness for their next game, since one will have a game tomorrow and one will have a game the following day, so we might see some additional substitutions here. In rugby, you get rugby 15s, you get up to 8 substitutes, but other than some rare exceptions for blood or concussion or injury, once a player has substituted out, they cannot go back in. UNI, very good kick, very competitive. Just not quite enough height there, and not quite enough speed off the line to compete for it, but very close. Principia with a nice counterattack, but little mess around the ruck, bodies lying around, and one of their UNI's props slow to get out of the way, and that's going to give Principia a penalty advantage. We'll see what they do with it. They're going to keep attacking. That advantage should be over now. Principia's gained some distance. So in rugby, you have when there's a penalty, the referee may not blow the whistle right away. If it is advantageous for the team who did not commit the penalty, so that they may have a scoring chance, for instance, and you don't want to take that away from them. And so a penalty is over once there is a territorial or tactical gain at the referee's discretion. So usually that might mean 6 or 7 meters, something like that. Or an opportunity to really advance the ball, whether or not it happens. And then the penalty is just wiped away. Looks like UNI was offsides. We might coming back to that penalty, but that would have been quite a few phases, and that's a little bit too long. So maybe there had been a second penalty in there. UNI almost able to keep that ball in. Almost. Very good effort. Perhaps the winger over there almost gave his team a chance. Principia had not cleared that ball out of bounds far enough. So we will head back to a line out. Principia a little bit disorganized, possibly because of the substitution they made up in the forward, so people switched around to different positions. They need to be careful about not having a delay of game, which isn't an official penalty, but when the ref tells you to get moving, you need to get moving. So Principia, that's a maul, a very good maul. They've gained maybe 15 meters off that. They're still going. And they're going to score off this. So UNI not ready on the maul defense off the line out. We have about 22 minutes left in the half. Principia crossing the 50-point line. I see 3 substitutes, maybe 4 substitutes for Principia lining up. Several of which were actually part-time starters last year, so still we have some very good talent coming onto the field. And then we 1 freshman for Principia. So here we have Principia coach Philip Kellerman making a decision that I think he's feeling the score is at a big enough gap that he can rest 3 of his, it looks like all backline players coming off, and keeping their legs fresh for Sunday. Looks like we have the scrum half coming off, a wing, a center, outside center, and one of the locks for Principia. The 2 backs and a forward. There are eight forwards and 7 backs.
You're fine, boys. Let's go. Let's go.
Although everybody needs a lot of different skills, and players are certainly able to change positions on the field at any time as necessary, or as they would like to. So UNI's kick did not go 10 meters. That gives Principia the scrum at the center of the field. Principia with a new scrum half in, freshman, and
Big strike, Uni.
their second substitution in for their forwards. Still had a nice drive. Cleared that ball, but we saw that very flat passing with people standing still. And so UNI's defense not only to shut it down, but able to actually rip the ball out of the hands of Principia. And now UNI with a chance to attack, but they drop the ball, and we're going to have a knock. That's unfortunate. Very good defense effort. They had a strong, hard launch. Did allow Principia to slip through a little bit, but kept it covered. And then just very aware play to see a ball that was not tucked into the arm as tightly as it could. And UNI just ripped it out and had that nice chance to counterattack, but then dropped it out of the transition into attack. We have yet another scrum. This is the point in the games where the forwards are getting a little bit tired of the scrums and upset at people dropping the balls because keep coming back to scrums, and we have a knock there. The pass from the 8 to 9. 9 was not ready for it, knocked it forward. Oh, and it's actually going to be called, so there was a knock, but there was an obstruction call as well. So we had a problem there where a Principia player acted as a blocker. Blocking is not allowed in rugby, and so that's called obstruction, and it is against the rules, and so UNI wins the ball, but has coughed it up at the tackle, and Principia has regained the ball. We have a whistle, and Principia has knocked the ball on. A knock is losing the ball forwards off of your hands or arms. So it's a little bit like a pass to yourself, whether or not you actually end up picking it up, but passing forward isn't allowed. So we have the knock, and UNI is going to get the scrum. So with the substitutions here, I'm excited to see how UNI does on their own put in, because they get their own drive cadence. Once the 9 rolls the ball in, usually you're gonna surge together and try to drive the other team backwards. And it's easier to do for the team rolling on the ball. But the referee has called a penalty on UNI's prop. Their loosehead prop must probably wearing number 1. I don't see him, but for pulling down on his opponent on the scrum, that's not allowed. And so Principia regains the ball, kicks the touch, and we're going to move to a lineout. Lot of whistles. Principia up in the 50s right now on score to 7 for UNI, and we have about 17 minutes remaining in this game. The loser of this game will be playing tomorrow afternoon here in beautiful Forest Park. These fields really are gorgeous, so thank you to the park system for having them for rugby. Principia, beautiful throw and catch on the lineout. And then a very nice transition passing down the line, hard running, and then not quite making it in off that ruck. But UNI, I'm not sure if that's playing the ball on the ground, something like that. And so Principia is going to get the ball with a penalty 5 meters away from the in goal. They're probably going to call for a scrum. They're calling for a scrum. So UNI's defense will be right on their goal line. The ball is 5 meters away. This will suck in 16 of the 30 players on the field. It really sucks in 18 because of the scrum halves, and this opens up some nice attack lanes for Principia's backs, 3 of which are substitutes, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Oh, I guess just two in the back line plus the scrum half are substitutes. Looks like at center and at wing. So the 8-man takes the ball. The 9, little struggle there. They don't quite communicate well. He and the first receiver. Some pushing and shoving down near the goal line. Maul did not form. And Principia inches away from scoring. UNI just trying to keep the ball off the field. Principia has to put downward pressure on the ball to score. Crossing the line is not enough. And UNI, very strong defense. It says that 3 phases in a row where they held strong and still keeping Principia out. Yet another phase. And Principia is able to punch it in over there. But even with that score, UNI was able to force Principia out near the touchline and probably denying them the additional 2 points. Those 2 points can be everything. Back in the 2003 World Cup, I believe it was, USA had a chance to actually move on, but had to have a kick from the touchline, so all the way out from the edge of the field, near the end of the game, or maybe right at the end of the game, and kind of that situation, if you make the kick, you win. If you don't make it, you lose, and they did not make it. And I would imagine most people who have played have been in games and tournaments where those 2 points did matter. So still very strong effort by UNI's defense. That kick did not, the wind definitely showed up on that kick. Kick did not even make it to the goal line. We have somewhere around 15, maybe 15 minutes left to play in the half. Principia up by about 50 points. But UNI has looked very, very good in this game, despite the score. And again, trying the short kick, not effective yet again. Principia going to have the scrum. Maybe the kicker is upset with his forwards. That's what it's looking like, and wants to make them scrum some more. Principia put on the scrum. Looks like the 8-man's going to take it out, pass to the 9, out to the fullback who is playing as first receiver, Andy Matoka, weaving through some defenders. Principia there to ruck. Passing to first pod, who runs it back in over the ruck. Interesting angle there. Gains a bunch of ground, and Principia scoring in the corner. That'll bring the score to, I'm being told, 60-7, and we'll get to see this kick. You'll notice way out by the touch line or the out of bounds line. Very, very challenging kick. Kicker has to back up because of the angle with the posts, and he's out about 25 meters away from the goal line. Maybe close to 30 meters from the goal line, and then 40 meters from the center of the post, right angle. And for those of you who love trigonometry, you could calculate his actual distance with that information. He's got the leg. Oh, so close. Not quite the right angle. All right, so we're at 60-7. Thunder Chickens over the Panthers with about 11 minutes, 10, 11 minutes to play. Still very cold here. For those of you who have seen Chance the Rapper's SNL sketch about hockey at Madison Square Garden, feels a little bit like that right now. Strong defense again by UNI here. Good pressure. Principia's really been having good quick balls today and moving the ball out of rucks nicely. Might have a offsides, I'm guessing. Oh, we have a high tackle call. High tackle call back at the halfway line. So Principia's going to have the ball. You'll see UNI's defense back up 10 meters. Looks like Principia will kick for touch. At this point, the interest is to just slow the game down. You don't want to get cold, but there's no use in hurrying. UNI very, yet again, that's I think the third time we've seen, almost able to keep that ball in bounds and playing. So good effort there. We're playing 14 on 15 for Principia right now. They do have one player over a little bit of a nosebleed, so he's just taking a knee over by the sideline and getting that fixed up right now. Have our line out here. Principia with the line out. UNI was up early, which is illegal, so that was going to be Principia's ball no matter what. Linus taking it in, good contact, good tackle. Oh, slow to ruck. Principia too slow to ruck, but they are having to run over UNI players, but did gain the ball anyway, so referee didn't need to make any decisions about who's at fault there. Jay coming up, passing the ball. Another pass out to Principia's captain. Ball bouncing around, a kick, and let's see what the referee's going to call. He's going to call a knock on Principia, so Principia basically a fumble forward, and UNI is going to get to put the ball in on the scrum. It's been a really, I was a forward, and so the set pieces of scrum and lineouts, what the forwards are doing is of great interest to me, and it's been lovely seeing these two very evenly matched teams. Principia a little bit better in the scrum today, but both teams winning their ball every time but one, and nobody able to significantly drive the other team, and both teams having fairly clean balls out the back with just a few exceptions. So it's been very even. Everybody has gotten to play. Okay, Principia swinging it back, but no trick plays really or anything. We have the tackle line. Oh, but UNI man not up necessarily in position, or maybe playing a little bit of a trap. And so Principia's gotten up into UNI territory. Ooh, good run, good tackle.
Ready up!
I think the tackling for both teams has been one of the standouts today. There have not been very many missed tackles. And have been a lot of solid tackles and a lot of solid ball running. So this has been very nice to watch. Principia several phases in, attacking, getting up close to UNI's 22. Ball, little pod play. Principia looking a little bit disorganized. You're not seeing the ruckers in place there. And not quite set up, but they do pass the ball back to Andrew Matoka. UNI not quite ready for that. Andrew Matoka just skates through the back line. Getting the ball when you're running at speed against someone standing still makes it much easier to get by. We have about 5 minutes to play, and Principia up, I think 65-7, something like that. Imagine both teams are getting ready for some lunch and after the game, and maybe getting their coats on as well. It's I'm sure a very emotional time. You and I last year getting fourth at nationals, so winning both their Friday and Sunday games last year. They were down in they're played down in the southeast. And then Principia right here on this very field, losing this game in the round of 16 against Minnesota Duluth in a very close game. Principia had been up, and then in the second half let it slip away. So probably an emotional game for both teams very capable. Quite a lot of solid players. And then kicking off in half an hour, we're going to have Minnesota State in Mankato against Mira Costa out of California. And then the winner of that game will play here on Sunday, and the loser will play the loser of this game. Principia with a great run all the way down to just a few meters out from the goal line. Arm pulled on. Principia player loses the ball, and so it looks like it went forward when he lost it, had not secured the ball again. It's twice for Principia, a ball loose, not in a place where the ball is going to get passed, and not tucked away. You need to take care of the ball. And both times you and I able to win possession, once on a strip and here off the first knock. So good defensive idea there by the UNI player. Have another scrum. If you think you're tired of hearing that word today, think about how the players are feeling in the scrum. Great run by, I believe it's at probably the number 10 for UNI. We had a missed tackle up by Principia and able to string it together. The player who missed the tackle did get back and make that tackle. UNI just not quite able to convert on that, but did get all the way up to Principia's 22. They just haven't had the ball much this half, but now showing just how dangerous they can be. And we're going to start seeing this hard running again in the pod plays. I'm expecting that we saw them do very well in the first half. But Principia Jackler, or Rucker, before the Ruck was able to get his hands on that ball. UNI just a little bit too slow to Ruck, and so Principia gets the penalty. And that's going to be the game. Thank you all for tuning in. We have Principia playing on Sunday, I believe at noon, and then UNI will be playing Saturday at... What time does UNI play tomorrow? Okay, and UNI will be playing tomorrow, and Principia will be playing Sunday at noon, and that information is readily available online. Thank you for tuning in. This was a very hard-fought game. A lot of great skills on show, and you can see why both of these teams deserved to be here in the round of 16 with a shot at the national championships. Next up, we have, I believe it'll be on a different stream, but we will have Minnesota State versus Mira Costa, and that'll be at 2 p.m. Central, so in 30 minutes.